it's time to come in. You are doing so well following directions. And now we're moving in. Thank you. That's all you got to do. Thank you. We are coming down to the end of our program, but we still have some good content left that is important for you all to hear and very exciting. So our next panel, which is building corporate partnerships in technology, I'm going to hand that over to this panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. I'm Clayton Lewis from University of Colorado. It's my pleasure to moderate our panel this afternoon on building corporate partnerships in technology. So we've been hearing a lot about technology. We've been talking a lot about technology. We've talked about the role of research in developing new technology. But we all know that when technology really reaches us, almost all the time, it reaches us through companies who develop, deploy, and market new technologies. So our great companies in the technology sphere have a vital role to play in accomplishing everything that we're talking about here. So I'm delighted that we have three panelists with us this afternoon who are heavily involved in this work. I'm going to introduce them briefly. So immediately to my left, we have Matthew Gerst, who's Director of Regulatory Affairs for CTIA, the Wireless Association. So this is a trade association that represents many of the companies we're talking about here. I'll leave the rest of his biography for you to read. Next, we have Larry Goldberg, who's Director of Accessible Media at Yahoo. Many of you know Larry through his work over many years, including as Director of the National Center for Accessible Media, which is an organization that's had huge impact. And then finally, on my extreme left, is Jeff Hale. Jeff is a software engineer at Google working on apps accessibility, and some of you will remember Jeff from his time as a research fellow here at the Coleman Institute. So for this panel, we're going to depart a bit from the usual format because we really want to get ideas from you, the audience. So this is how this is going to work. So the panelists are going to begin with short presentations apiece, and it will be short because I'm going to force them to be short. Then we're going to give you, the audience, a few minutes to talk with those near you about what you've heard and develop suggestions or questions about what we and these companies can do in the future. So if you're sitting by yourself, I invite you to get up and move so that you're near somebody that you can talk with as part of that process. And then we're going to have a good block of time for you to share whatever ideas you've come up with there in the form of questions for the panel or suggestions for the panel. We'll have some time then for them to interact with you about that. And then finally, if I manage the time successfully, they'll all have the last word for a minute or two before we finish up. So we'll begin with Matthew Gerst with his brief remarks.
Great, thank you. And thank you, Clayton, for inviting me, and Shay as well, and the Coleman Institute. We're very excited to be here, myself representing CTIA, the Wireless Association. We are the trade association for the wireless industry. Our member companies include the national wireless carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, as well as many of these regional carriers that may be in your communities. We also represent the equipment manufacturers that make the devices that we all use on a daily basis, and also basically any company that might touch the ecosystem. The wireless ecosystem is a member of ours. So I will have to point out Google is a member, so thank you for being a member of ours. And you know, it's important for us to be here because accessibility is a priority for our industry. We believe that the wireless industry actually leads the market in offering all consumers, including people with disabilities, incredible choices among services and products to meet everybody's unique needs. So I'm glad that I can come here to tell our story, but I'm also glad to be here, as Clayton said, in this format because I need to learn from you. Despite all of our efforts on accessibility that I'll talk about very, very briefly, I think addressing the accessibility needs of people with cognitive disabilities and the cognitive disability community is a significant challenge for us. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come here to bring back information to our member companies based on the information that you provide to us. I was already in a couple sessions earlier today and learned a lot that I know that I can bring back to our member companies. So before we get there, I want to share with you a little bit about our story. Today, there are over 355 million active wireless subscriptions in the U.S. That is more wireless subscriptions than there are people in the United States of America. 41% of households have completely cut the cord, meaning that they are wireless only. They have moved on from a fixed connection and are primarily relying on their wireless service. And we're using wireless devices and services more and more every day. In fact, the average user checks their phone 150 times per day. So no judgment if you have already done that or exceeded that today at this point, not from us. But even more exciting, seriously, is how the wireless industry we know today through smartphones is quickly changing as we integrate wireless technologies everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Home, work, school, government programs, public safety, and doctor's offices, healthcare systems, many, many more places where wireless is being integrated. We call this the Internet of Things, and that's really what's coming, is how we're automating our lives through wireless technologies. And throughout the wireless industry, we're advancing accessibility. We're designing products and services in consultation with people with disabilities, and I know that data from the wireless RERC at Georgia Tech has shown that the use of wireless technologies by the general population of people with disabilities is on par with that of the general population itself. So there's a high percentage of people with disabilities who are actually relying or using wireless technologies today. So an exciting development for people with cognitive disabilities in the smartphone era, I think, from our perspective, is the consistent user experiences you get across different devices through centralized platforms like Google Android, like Apple iOS, like Windows, but then also having the ability to customize your experiences within those platforms to meet your particular needs. So for example, we can customize and interact with a phone by enlarging or minimizing the number of apps that we see on the home screen. You can set the time, there's a fly running around here, set the time for how long we need to take to interact with the device before it locks. And you can add applications designed either by individuals, designed by large companies, to meet your particular needs. So for people with cognitive disabilities, the ability to have a consistent yet a customizable experience in this environment, we think opens up incredible opportunities for communication, learning, and participation. So of course, regulations require our member companies to consider the accessibility of communication services and equipment, but the wireless industry has also gone above and beyond that through our efforts around accessibility. One that I think you should all, if you take nothing away from my remarks, please take this away. We have a website called accesswireless.org, and this is our flagship for these efforts. And it's what we believe to be our first stop and the consumer's first stop to find information about accessible wireless products and services. And one more minute, I think I'm going to get there. Accesswireless.org offers the ability to search for handsets based only on accessibility features. It offers direct links to our member companies, the service providers, and the manufacturers' accessibility web pages. And it provides guides and tips to help people with disabilities and older adults use wireless to meet their needs. So accesswireless.org does have information for people with cognitive disabilities, but we need to hear from you. I need to take information back that I learned here so we can continue improving that part of the website, the part that's dedicated to people with cognitive disabilities. So that's where I'll end my remarks here, because despite the efforts that I think we recognize, we need to learn more about how people with cognitive disabilities are using wireless. And in fact, the FCC has recognized this. I think I saw Allison Cutler here from the FCC. There she is in the back. Next week, they're actually hosting a workshop on cognitive disability issues, which I think is a very good step to help bring awareness to these issues, particularly for our member companies. So I'm planning to attend. I look forward to what I can learn here and bring back to that discussion, and that's where I'll end my remarks.
Great.
So thank you.
Very much. Larry Gold, down there.
Thanks, Clayton. I too am here to learn. To sit on a panel about cognitive disabilities is a bit of a reach for me, but not to sit on a panel about corporate partnership, and that's a very interesting thing I'd like to talk about. I spent 30 years almost, a nonprofit organization at WGBH in Boston, working on research and development, standards and policy and advocacy. And then a year and a half ago, I joined this amazing team at Yahoo that's working on accessible media and technology. And it's a great viewpoint to see how all of the things that many of us in this room have worked for is now being implemented by industry the way it should be. And it's up to us to really make the things that wind up in people's homes and schools and desktops and pockets accessible. We need to learn how to do that for cognitive disabilities as well. We're doing pretty well on sensory disabilities and mobility, but there's so much more to learn. It's an interesting year full of anniversaries. The 25th of the ADA, Yahoo turned 20, old man for a startup company. This is the 15th annual Coleman Institute. Communications and Video Accessibility Act turned 5. And in the year 2000, almost exactly 15 years ago, at the end of the Clinton administration, 2 letters were sent to President Clinton. An open letter on accessibility from technology executives and an open letter on accessibility from the presidents of major research organizations. These letters said things like, if our products and services are designed to be accessible, people with disabilities will find it easier to work, access a growing universe of electronic information and services, and lead more independent lives. This is from the CEOs, none of which, by the way, are still CEOs of those companies. All of us are committed to developing a corporate-wide policy on accessibility within the next 6 months. We plan to raise the level of awareness of accessibility issues within our company and provide our employees with the training they need to design accessible products and services. An amazing letter that stands as strongly today and as needed today, and if we actually had started 15 years ago, we'd be done. The university president said they pledged to make universal design and accessibility part of the education that we provide to computer scientists and engineers at all levels, undergraduate, graduate, and continuing ed. So when I was with WGBH, we were a grant writing machine. We wrote 3 different grants to actually take this work. None of them were actually funded. So now that I'm at Yahoo, we decided that it's now finally time to actually get on about these major issues. Every one of us who works at these tech companies, very dedicated specialists that really are very cohesive, and we work hard within our companies to make our technologies accessible. But we are outnumbered by our colleagues by 20,000 to 1. What we need is our 20,000 colleagues to at least have a base level of accessible design and inclusion. How do we do that? I mean, if I didn't have to explain to the developer of the latest web app or video player that all text needs to be labeled or buttons need to be keyboard accessible, we could skip all that and go right to the hard stuff. So 2 years ago at CSUN, I got together with some friends from Facebook and we said, yeah, we're very frustrated. Our new hires, our new hires just don't know enough about accessibility. So we talked to a bunch of our colleagues within universities who are doing great work and tech companies, and we created this thing called Teaching Accessibility. You can find us at teachingaccessibility.com, and probably with the last minute, let me just read you this collection of companies that have agreed to alter their job descriptions to include accessibility language, and universities that said, we're going to get at this. AAPD, Adobe, AT&T, Carnegie Mellon, Coleman Institute, DQ, Dropbox, edX, Facebook, Georgia Tech, Google, IAAP, Intuit, LinkedIn, Microsoft, the Olin College of Engineering, the Paciello Group, RIT, Stanford, Twitter, University System of Maryland, Towson State, University of Washington, Workday, and alphabetically, Yahoo. Always last. And we're working together on this. We're going to try to change curriculum at universities so it's horizontally taught, not vertically in silos. Same deal at companies. We don't want just our specialists who we all know each other very well. We want everyone within an organization to have some basic knowledge of accessibility. And with that, I think we really can conquer the world.
Thank you, Larry. Next up is Jeff Hale.
Thanks, Clayton. Thanks, Larry. As Clayton mentioned, the past few years I've been a Coleman Institute Research Fellow, worked on the other side of things, kind of helping organize this conference, kind of speaking to a lot of you. There's a lot of familiar faces out there. And then in the past year, I've kind of switched gears a little bit and have been a software engineer at Google at their headquarters in Mountain View. So I kind of feel like I'm, a little bit in enemy territory and have kind of been the mole there, kind of, figuring out how the world works from that side and how we can really affect change from the inside out there. So I kind of want to go over just, some of my observations from the past year and just kind of talk about a lot of what, I've seen, not only at Google, but just, tech companies in general in the Bay Area and how their kind of view and their ideas of accessibility have kind of been shifting over the past couple of years, and especially over the past year. So quickly to kind of go over, what Google's been doing in accessibility as well as cognitive disabilities, it helps to understand kind of our corporate structure. So recently we've kind of reorganized. We're, kind of now called Alphabet, which is a collection of companies. But two of the biggest arms of that are Google.org, which is our philanthropic arm, and Google.com, which is kind of our product division that kind of most people are familiar with our search engine and a lot of our apps. So with Google.org, they've actually been doing quite a bit in accessibility. So this year they've had a global impact challenge for all of 2015, and that impact challenge has been on disabilities. So to look at disabilities broadly and kind of figure out where they can start funding grants to really kind of help technology make a true impact in people's daily lives from an accessible perspective. So this year they have $20 million to give away to fund grants and projects. So far they've received well over 1,000 proposals. 60% of those have been from international organizations. As a global company, we try to really take a global view. Even recently we announced, particularly in the cognitive disability space, that we're helping fund the ARC and their Tech Toolbox project. So that's a huge win. And you'll see a lot more updates in the upcoming months on all of that. So definitely check out Google.org and all the things they're doing there. We also have a representative, Nick Kane, in the audience here that can kind of speak to a lot of those projects. On the product side, we have Google.com. And then again, as we kind of take that global focus, one of our big missions is to kind of start focusing on the next billion users, right? So a lot of the people that use Google products often are tech savvy or have a lot of resources or just kind of come from areas where they can get easy access to technology and internet and all of this. But that's not necessarily true for everyone. So we're really trying to shift a focus to the next billion users. Now we kind of go to a lot of people that don't inherently have that access, as well as other countries and emerging markets. One of the things I really want to talk about is like just cultural change I've seen in tech companies, especially as an engineer. And what I'm actually really happy, surprised, and delighted to share is that we are really making a cultural change where I think people are moving from these band-aids where we're talking about labeling text and looking at ARIA roles on the web and a lot of this technical mumbo-jumbo to kind of saying, okay, how do we change our processes? How do we change our development cycle to really make better products that are universally designed, universally accessible? So one of the other things that has kind of really come out from that recently is we, from the user experience and human-centered computing perspective, made public 2 of our internal personas that we use to kind of help educate designers and educate people about what it's like, what a day in the life is like with people with various disabilities. So we released 2 personas. One is Jeff with an essential tremor. So if you just go to YouTube and type in Google persona essential tremor, you'll see what a day in the life is like for Jeff using some common technology with tremors. Also notably, we have one named Danny who has cerebral palsy. And so you'll kind of see a really nice slice of life for Danny and how he uses mobile technology and the types of things he wants to do in his daily life, and how Google products, as well as all tech products, can really help benefit him every day to connect with friends, to kind of go to restaurants, and to do everything that we all want to do. So please definitely check that out. We're really excited to release that. And part of that is really just kind of doing that, getting earlier and earlier in the cycle so that we're just not fixing issues, but rather designing our products from scratch to be universally designed. One of the other things that we launched as part of our back to school movement is voice dictation in Google Docs. So right now, if you're a student using Google Docs in university, high school, elementary school, you can just speak to Google Docs and it'll dictate for you. The accuracy is really good, and we're trying to integrate that into all of our platforms. Android will have speech detection. You can have an interaction with search that way, as well as other products like YouTube Kids, which also is kind of a friendly way to use YouTube. I'm going to start talking really slow. No, stop there. So yeah, please find me if you want to know more.